So Witch Queen just around the corner. Twab the other day on Thursday saying that our exotic primaries are going to get 40% damage buff against red bars. I can get a bit more out of that with Trinity Ghoul set up here. There's a 3378 all the way up to 499, 4966. A few extra damage buffs. I can get you well up to that, so it's going to be higher than 40%. I'm going to show you how to get a 70 to 80% damage buff. All I'm doing here is I'm using Mask of Bakris and a few chargeable light high energy fire mods, and when they're all stacked together you can do 70 to 80% extra damage rather than the 40. So it's just a nifty little trick that might help next season. Constantly keep your damage up all the time. 6555, so it's quite a big damage increase, significant. Obviously that'll be a lot higher next season. It's quite easily achievable to do as well. Few little loops in the gameplay, you can easily achieve this damage. This is the type of stuff you can do with it once you've got all your buffs going. So from my super, I'm going to activate my light shift from the Bakris, and then again we're talking like full spawns here, and this is without the 40% damage buff next season that's coming to exotic primaries. So Trinity Ghoul could possibly be really good. It's already pretty good, but it's not very good for like GMs and stuff like that, because it seems to take 3 or 4 arrows to kill something. But hoping next season it should be pretty meta, and I hope this build people come back to and have a look at and think, yeah, it's pretty decent, get a bit of extra damage out of it. As always, I just wanted to show you a few of the clips first. If you're interested, stay tuned, because I'll show you the build and how to achieve the extra damage all the time. So this is my Trinity Ghoul build that's going to allow you to get like 40% extra damage, 30 to 40% extra damage I just want to say, plus the 40% that we're going to get next season. So in total that's going to be a 70 to 80% damage buff to what numbers we were seeing earlier. I sometimes like to synergize stasis abilities and supers and stuff like that with light based weapons. So like Trinity Ghoul is pretty much perfect for this build, what I'm going to show you now, based around Mask of Bakris, taking charge, high energy fire. But I'll just show you quickly my aspects and fragments. This one's really important, Grim Harvest. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants, create stasis shards. We need stasis shards from a mod, which I'll explain later. Touch of Winter, it's going to make my dustfield grenades have a bigger area. And then also what it does with dustfield grenades is it leaves like a little crystal in the middle of there as well, like a little stasis crystal. Then what happens with that is every so often, when you've got the Trinity Ghoul lightning rod perk activated, that will also destroy the little stasis crystal, causing a bit of extra damage as well. I just found it a nice little Brucey bonus. I run Whisper of Chains, Whisper of Jorans, Whisper of Impetus, Whisper of Hedrons, and this one is quite important, Whisper of Conduction, because all the shards that I'm creating from Grim Harvest and Dustfield Grenade, by slowing enemies and freezing enemies, all them shards are going to travel towards me. So you're not have to go run and look for the shards, they're all going to come to you. And then why I run the shards is because I run this mod here, so it turns all the elemental shards that we create from the aspects fragments, it's going to turn them all into thinking like they're elemental wells, and they're all going to come to you, so they're going to float towards you. Like, what I do then is I run elemental charge here. So all them shards act as wells, so they're all going to come to you, and they're constantly going to make you chargeable light as long as you're slowing and freezing enemies, which you will do all the time with a stasis subclass and that setup. So yeah, you're going to come chargeable light all the time. I also like to run this one, taking charge. That's just another way. So I've got 2 sources of becoming chargeable light, one from the elemental shards and one from the orbs, so we're always going to be ×2 chargeable light all of the time. And then I run high energy fire, which is a constant 20% damage buff if we're picking up the shards and the orbs. That's why I have the 2 sources of becoming chargeable light, so we can constantly keep the high energy buff going as well. What that does, it also applies to the lightning that comes from the Trinity Ghoul as well. So it works pretty well together. So not only does it improve the actual crit damage from the actual arrow, it'll improve all the chain lightning as well. The other mod, I just run this one purely for the mobility because I run Mask of Bakris. That means I can dodge more. It also gives you it gives your teammates chargeable light, because like I said, you're going to have two sources of coming with chargeable light, so doubling the chance of becoming chargeable light, therefore you're doubling your friends and teammates' chances of becoming chargeable light as well. So a nice little sweetener. Mask of Bakris is the final piece of the jigsaw. I've done a whole video on this explaining Mask of Bakris because there's a couple of like not very well explained buffs in there that it tells you, the video tells you exactly what the buffs do, but primarily reason is because it buffs arc weapons when you dodge. So every time you dodge, it's going to come up on the bottom left of your screen that says light shift, and that gives you 10% extra damage to your arc weapons, which stacks with high energy fire. So it all stacks together. Obviously your Trinity Ghoul, it affects the lightning as well, like the high energy fire. And then this little perk here, and you deal increased damage to all slowed or frozen targets, that also applies, which is another 10%. So you can possibly get a 20% extra damage boost as long as the enemies are slowed or frozen and you dodge. You're going to get a flat out 20% damage buff, 10% because you're using an arc weapon when you dodge, and 10% doing extra damage to them because they're slowed. So that's a 20% extra damage buff, 20% from high energy fire, that's 40, plus the 40% that we're going to get next season, that's an 80%. So you're always going to get 70 to 80% damage buff than what you're seeing now. So the numbers that we've all seen now, they're going to be possibly 70%, 80% higher than what they are there for next season. And yeah, I hope you can sort of see the synergy. I'm going to run a couple of the clips out and talk while they play out as well, so you can see what I'm doing. But I hope the build has been okay for you. Like I said, it was just another little way to quite easily get a bit of extra damage on your Trinity Ghoul. Take it easy. Now this is how I'm showing you the shards working with a chargeable light. As you can see there, I'm chargeable light times 2. It's disappeared, and then these shards up there, that's going to get me chargeable light back up to 2. Look, you see what I'm saying? It's pretty decent. So I'm always getting chargeable light all the time. You're always slowing and freezing things with this setup. So you're always getting shards, elemental charge, plus the taking charge, getting them times 2 chargeable light going all the time for your high energy fire. But what the Trinity Ghoul does as well, which isn't a bad thing, instead of consuming one stack with a chain lightning, if it kills 2 or 3 enemies, it consumes them all the chargeable light. So that's why it's quite important to have the 2 sources of chargeable light, just so you can keep your chargeable light all the time, proccing your high energy fire. And obviously just a combination of all the stuff I was saying about the slowing with the Bakris and the arc damage as well. As you can see there, all them yellow numbers, that's predominantly the Bakris sort of perks kicking in. Really strong setup, especially for next season when we're going to get that additional 40% as well. So just to clarify here, we've got 20% chargeable light high energy fire. I've dodged to get my light shift, which is a further 10%, and I'm doing an extra 10% against enemies that are slowed also. So it's quite a big damage buff. And like I said, Trinity Ghoul is a fantastic bow, and it's only going to get better for next season. Let me know if you think it was alright. I hope you enjoyed it.